I'm so excited that I purchased this. We are going to be talking about the Crimson Asteria Tarot. So this is going to be a tarot walkthrough and initial impressions review. Full disclosure, I have not read with this tarot deck yet, so it is very much going to be initial impressions. I literally got this deck, received it in the mail this Wednesday, so it's very new. I just had time to interview the deck and be with the energy of the deck and just be like laying them all out. I haven't had time to read with them, but this video, we're going to do a walkthrough, show you all the things that I got as part of my Kickstarter pledge, and then do a walkthrough of all 85 cards in total. So I haven't purchased a new tarot deck for a few months now, except for those that I've pledged and I'm waiting on Kickstarter a few months ago. And when I received this in the mail early this week, I was just so excited. And it is just everything that I hoped it would be from the Kickstarter pledge. So these are all the items that I received. It actually came in this beautiful wrapping paper with Medusa. This is an archetype very important for Amanda Spicer, who created this deck. And I'm definitely gonna reuse this. I don't know when, but I will. As part of Amanda Spicer reaching her stretch goals on Kickstarter, I got a dream journal. Pretty standard. The lines are a little bit too thick for me, but very cute and always very nice to receive extra goodies, as well as an essential oil as part of hers reaching another stretch goal, and also some additional cards that I'm going to be sharing at the end of the walkthrough. But essentially, this Kickstarter campaign was very successful for Amanda, and it's no wonder why. She's published 2 other decks before. This is her 3rd one. And the Crimson Asteria, she's actually going to be doing a companion oracle deck to this. Here you can see it's gold, it's got some embossing. If you touch it, it's like the letters are ridged a little bit higher. And it's just a very beautiful femme deck. The 2-part box is it's always a little bit of a hassle for me to pull apart, and I love these collectible boxes, but it's also just like not the best thing for people who live in small spaces. I don't know where I'm gonna put this. All my tarot boxes are full, but I'm not complaining. I like keeping my decks very nice and clean. One thing to note is that the Companion Insights book, she had to reprint it because in the one that came in the tarot deck, one of the descriptions for the pentacles, which is the 2 and the 10 of pentacles, it was switched. So this one says 2 pentacles, but then it has the 10 of pentacles descriptions. And honestly, I'm really glad that she caught that and got us a new book, because this one is actually, the print is bigger, which is like, I don't know, it feels like this one was like really tiny. So yeah, if you can see, it's just bigger and it's easier for me to read. So I'm glad that there was a mistake and that was why she had to reprint it. A very cute Companion Insights guidebook, short and sweet and to the point. There's a quote at the front by Charles Williams, and a Celtic cross spread that she provides at the end. So that's the Companion Insights books, but let's get into the tarot deck itself. Just in terms of noting it, it is beautiful. It's one of these bigger, wider cards, nice fancy stock. It has a matte finish, which I just love matte finish. It's shiny at the back and it feels really good in the hands, and the sides is red as well, and it's a matte finish. So there's a lot of red here because it is called Crimson Asteria, and it's also called Asteria for the Greek Titaness, who is the mother of Hecate, the goddess of witches. And what's interesting about Asteria is that she's the goddess of falling stars and of divination. So these drawings were channeled by Amanda Spicer over a year, which means it took her longer to finish it up because a lot of these were channeled, and you can't really just ask for channeling, sometimes you have to receive. But let's walk through this deck, which is very much a Smith-Waite clone. There are some differences, but it's very, very similar, and interesting interpretations that she takes with the Smith-Waite. So as you can see, illustrations, right? Beautiful, detailed illustrations. White background generally, except for very few colored in backgrounds. Most of it is white. But the thing is that what I love about this deck, and you'll see when you move through it, is that she uses the red to denote lighter and darker expressions. So even though it is monochromatic, there is depth to it, because color can really help us in interpreting the cards. So I really like that. It's very delicate, very dainty, very femme. It thrills me so much. Magical realism. I really like the strength card. I'm very much gripped by how in this deck the figure is holding up the lion's head almost like a sun rather than opening the jaw, which sometimes I feel is a little aggressive and places humans at apex of some hierarchy. I really love this depiction of death. A woman is taking off her mask, and behind the human mask is a skull. And there is what appears to be wings, the sign of birds in the background. So one of the few illustrated in the back. I like the expressions on their faces as well. Some of them look they look different from the Smith-Waite version. Some of them look more peaceful, like the moon. I think this is such a gentle depiction and loving Cancerian energy of the moon, and I love the little bunnies instead of the crabs here. They're in a field, it looks like, rather than like the water, but it still replicates that idea of thresholds. So those were the major arcana cards. Now Amanda did provide 2 additional cards to be used with this deck called Hope and Asteria. So as mentioned, Asteria represents the Greek goddess of falling stars and nighttime divinations. And then we also have a beautiful Hope card. So these were placed right after the major arcana. So, and the fact they're not numbered, but I would consider them as part of the universal forces. Okay, so now we move into the suits. All of the aces have this motif of a circle, of a portal. It feels like it gets at that feeling of the hand reaching out from the cloud, or just like the divine hand. It feels like this is a divine egg and you're looking into something. Looks like a salamander. Reminds me of the Smith-Waite deck. So it is quite similar to Pamela Coleman Smith's version, you know. This one, there's a little bit more grace and beauty. And this deck has what Amanda calls tasteful nudes to it. Most of them are women. There are some men. So in this 8 of Wands, she depicts a person in there. In the 9 of Wands, the whole person is completely mummified. So there is this monster vibe to it, dreamy, magical realism to it. And it's interesting, Amanda plays with facial expressions. So in this 10 of Wands, the person is looking at us. And we'll see in some other cards that people whose backs are to us, we get to see their faces now. So the Wands have a little bit more horse, centaur energy, Sagittarius vibes here. And then we have the Cups, again, reminiscent to the Ace of Cups and Smith-Waite. Here there is no people. There's just the snakes, and then you see the cups in their mouths. I thought this is pretty trippy, pretty cool. Again, the expressions here, they feel a little bit devilish to me, witchy vibe. Which, you know, Five of Cups definitely denotes that feeling of witchcraft. You got the Ursula vibes, the sea witch vibes, so the cups are quite like. Oh, and I really like this Nine of Cups. If you look at the Smith-Waite version, Nine of Cups always seem to me very arrogant, but I think like this is actually like the vibe we're supposed to get from Nine of Cups, which is like this proudness and all that we have. A lot of sea creatures here, and you see the different shades of red. Very, very dark progression. Like that potent energy. The color red donates life, energy, blood. Moving on to the swords. These dismembered heads disturb me. And yeah, with the Six of Swords, I noticed that in this one, you can see the passengers very clearly, as well as a little bit of the ferryman. And she's added on here 2 monsters, and they're basically destroying, preventing their journey. They're eating the boat. So it's very interesting that she has this card, and they don't seem that troubled. So this is quite. I quite like this card. It's making me think a lot. She added in a dragon creature, snake-like creature here. And then finally the pentacles. So I noticed with the pentacles that there were less people, and it did change how I felt about the pentacles. Like in Five of Pentacles, it's just this one figure, whereas in the Smith-Waite, there's 2 people, right? Six of Pentacles as well, there's only 1 person here, and it quite changes the vibe and the feeling and the emotions in the card. I can still get a sense of Pamela Coleman Smith, but it's definitely personal, individualized. Yeah. We have this sort of another interesting creature. And then interestingly enough, with the Pentacles, you have a more medieval traditional suit with the knight, medieval knight, a very maiden, fair maiden vibe, and a very patriarchal king of pentacles. Now we have the extra cards. So with these stretch goals, we did receive extra cards that is actually from the upcoming Oracle deck that is supposed to be a companion to the Crimson Asteria. So we have Equilibrium, Melusin, Sol e Luna, Sun and Moon, as well as Wisdom as a special gift while Amanda was packaging these. And this is all in the updates and Kickstarter, so you can also read more about it if you're interested about the extra goodies. But she said that she wanted to give this as a little surprise. It's a gold card of Medusa, another archetype that she loves to work with. All right, so thanks for going on this Crimson Asteria Tarot walkthrough with me. I just want to provide just a quick few final thoughts in conclusion, noting that I haven't used it in the tarot reading yet. I literally got it earlier this week and just had time to sit down and lay out all the cards and be with the energy. But just overall vibes, love it. So glad that I got it. It's femme, it's dainty, magical realism. I love these types of illustrations and the quality is so good. Because I haven't used it in a reading yet, I will just say that even if I may not connect with it, just in case, you know, maybe I don't actually really enjoy reading it for myself or for other people, I will have to say that I think it's going to be a beautiful deck to simply look at and have in my collection, because I am a tarot reader, but I also love to collect decks. Some other things to note is that if you are interested in this deck, I do think that there are helpful cues here. The color, the way that she uses color to be darker, to be lighter, I think the varying shades of red and pink, maroon, they really do help you to interpret the cards and the mood and the energy of the cards. But the fact that there isn't a lot of people in the cards does make me feel like there might be a barrier just with all minimalistic decks. If they're a little bit too minimalistic, you know, with all the white backgrounds and just the elegance of it, it can sometimes be harder to interpret it, especially if you don't have the Smith-Waite iconography like really in your memory. So just another thing to note, obviously the decks are a little bit thicker and wider, so the shuffling, yeah, it's always a problem for me. I still haven't really figured out the best way to shuffle these, but I'm gonna do it like very gently. Thank you for watching this indie deck walkthrough, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel. Check out my Patreon at patreon.com/IreneYogaFlow. I offer tarot readings as well, and let me know in the comments below what was your favorite card. Bye for now.